means truth. So tell me about your spiritual journey.
What's going on? It's Lindsay Warwick, the conduit on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. I am so excited today to be talking to my friend Leigh here to kick off the Tattva Tuesday series again.
Hey.
Yay! So the last episode that aired was last May, and I don't know about you, girl, but 2024 was a little bit wild for me.
Honey.
Just a
girl.
little bit.
Listen.
And I've been having the call recently to get back on here and have these beautiful open conversations with people. So that being said, I just want to talk a little bit about what Tattva Tuesday is.
Yeah.
Tattva Tuesday. Tattva is a Sanskrit word that means truth. And so the concept came to me about 3 years ago that I wanted to have people of all kinds on the show to talk about their spiritual journey, their conception of God, source, etc., and just kind of let source channel through both myself and the guests to see what messages need to come out. And it's been amazing. The unique part of the podcast is I don't do any editing. It's a raw cut. So this
Love
is
it.
just us being us. And this is exactly what's going to air. So I am just so stoked that you agreed to do this with me. I've been wanting to connect with you for a long time.
Yeah.
So this is Leigh King, everybody.
Hi.
Hey. You can see her beautiful face if you're watching on YouTube, but you can hear her lovely voice if you're listening on the other outlets. So Leigh, why don't you just tell us about you? Like, who are you? What do you do?
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Leigh Sauvageau King. Sauvageau is my maiden name. And I am a tarot reader and a Reiki master. Those are my kind of titles, I guess, in the spiritual world. But my background's in musical theater. So my main gig is I'm a singer around town. And yeah, I'm a mom. So I have a 5.5-month-old. She'll be 6 months on the 24th. It's flying by. Yeah. So I'm really grateful to be here. I'm excited to connect with you. And yeah, I was so honored that you asked, and I can't wait to see what unfolds. So
I know, same. I mean, I did throw it out there on the socials, and I've had a really great response, but I don't know, you were just like, yeah, let's do it. Boom, boom. And so we both were just like,
make it happen, honey.
What's your sign?
I'm a Taurus.
Oh, girl. I'm a Capricorn. We're just like, let's get this shit done on the schedule right now. Boom, here we are.
Yes.
Like we talked 2 days ago.
Yeah.
We talked 2 days ago, and it was like,
is key.
done, and done.
Yes,
like, where's the plan? We're good.
Yes, I love that.
So yeah, I'm so excited that you're here, and yeah, like I'm just excited to see what comes through as well. And I just feel so joyful today. So it's like the energy feels super good today, at least for me.
Yeah, I agree. Had to do some saging, get rid of some juju, return to sender. But
yeah, send it back. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Yes.
And go away. That's
namaste away from me.
Namaste away from me sometimes, but it's all good.
It is.
So let's talk about how you got into, I know you mentioned Reiki before tarot, but I don't know which came first for you. If you want to talk about like your spiritual background.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just going to casually sip my coffee out of my Capricorn cup because this is a couch chat. I'm on my couch.
I love it.
You're over there on yours.
My Starbies, my little Starbies. We're not sponsored.
Maybe they will sponsor me someday. Let's put it out there. I'm here for
Yeah,
it.
so I got my first tarot deck when I was 18. So I'm 35 now. So I've been reading for about 17 years. Um, for a long time, it was just, at parties and like fun to do for friends. And then about 3.5, 4 years ago, I had my awakening. And something that I'd always gone to tarot for guidance personally, but I knew the cards, but not as like in depth as I wanted to. So it's always been, out of all the modalities, it's always been the most resonant for me, including Reiki. I'm a tarot girl through and through. That is like, and I've tried a lot of other things, but tarot for me is just like tried and true. And so I really threw myself into tarot throughout my awakening. And then I took some courses. Like I just kind of went balls to the wall,
Art in the paint.
Yeah. And I started reading professionally about 2.5 years ago now. And I love it. It's literally the gift that keeps on giving. Every time I read for anybody, I feel like I discover things about myself, and I'm always finding new things in the cards and new symbology. So yeah, so I'm a tarot girl. But Reiki for me has been an interesting journey. I am a Reiki master. And I took all of my Reiki training from Teresa, Bennett, Yates at Cloud9 Reiki, who we love.
Her.
We love her. Yes.
We do love her.
Yeah. And I did all of my Reiki training one-on-one, which is really interesting. And just kind of the way it panned out. Like I didn't mean for that to happen, but it's just kind of the way it happened. I love Reiki, but for me, Reiki is far more like a tool in my spiritual tool belt versus like a main modality that I use often. I will do Reiki sessions, but like as a master, I have not yet attuned anyone. It's something I'm open to, but that doesn't feel like part of my calling right now. I like to use Reiki as a tool in, I like to do tarot led Reiki sessions or chakra balancing sessions where we're, clearing energy. And so yeah, for me, I love Reiki, and it is a huge part of my journey and a huge part of who I am. But I do feel like I kind of plug it in my other practices, if that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So many things came to me, like so many things that I want to ask you about just as you shared that little bit there. So you said you had your awakening.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Like,
sure,
what was that like for you?
Yeah. So I had a miscarriage, and it was devastating, but it also spurred me into my awakening hardcore. I've lost a lot of people in my life. I lost my mom when I was 21. I've lost a best friend to cancer when I was 25. My cousin passed away. One of my first loves has passed away. So I've lost a lot of people that have been very close to me. And for a long time, anytime I would go through loss, I would drink it away, or I would smoke it away, or I would, I've always kind of had this mentality of like, keep it rolling. Like we just keep on keeping on, honey. My mom was like a strong Southern woman. It's just very much like, nope, not talking about that. We tuck it under the rug. We keep it going. And when the miscarriage happened, I knew that I had to heal it, because it like rocked me to my core. And I was like, if I don't address this and like really do some deep healing, this is not going to be pretty for me. Like I really felt like I was at a crossroads.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I reached out to one of my nearest and dearest friends, Danielle, who I think Danielle as well. She does yoga. She owns Wilderness Yoga.
Duval.
Yes.
Love her.
Yeah, we've been friends since I was,
hi, Danielle.
We've been friends since I was 15. Yeah, so I've known her.
Wow.
We've known each other through like a lot of iterations of each other.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Had no idea. Love that.
Yeah, we did theater together. I've lived with her before. Like we've like been through it. Yeah. So anyway, I reach out to her and I was like, at the time, I was like, I just want to do some yoga. Like, I just want to kind of get back in my body a little bit. And so she invited me over and I go and she was like, bring a mat, and I'm expecting we're going to do like a vinyasa flow and we're going to be like, and I get there and she's like, lay down. I was like, okay. And so I laid down and she said, I'm going to assess your chakras. And I was like, what the fuck is a chakra? Like, I had no idea what she was talking about. And she goes with a pendulum down my whole body, does a full chakra assessment, and then started to explain it to me. And it was like the biggest light bulb. It was nothing, I was raised Catholic, and nothing has ever resonated for me the way chakras did, the way like everything she was explaining. And I remember I got in the car after that and I just sat there and it was literally like everything looked different.
Yeah.
It was it was like this veil had lifted. And so I threw myself into it. We met once a week, and every week she gave me like a different chakra to kind of focus on. And then we would assess the next week and see where I was. And about 8 weeks later, we did my assessment and I was, all my chakras were open. And it was this, I will never forget it. And, it was amazing, but it's also like, I'm doing all of this, and everyone in my life is like, what is going on? Like, who even are you? What's happening? Yeah. So that the miscarriage was the catalyst, and I have never been so grateful for a tower moment. I call them tower moments, like that was a tower moment for me. And I could have chosen a really dark path, and I didn't, and I'm proud of that. And it's led me to where I am. So yeah.
I'm so beyond proud of you. There's so much that you said that is relatable and resonant. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to talk to her about this. And I want to talk to her about this. But just for the sake of our listeners that may not be familiar with tower, can you just explain the tower metaphor? Okay.
Yes. So the tower is one of the major arcana cards in tarot. And essentially it's like your entire world crumbling down to the foundation. Yes. Sometimes it's from an act of God, like something that's out of our control. And it usually feels like it comes out of nowhere, and it just cuts us to the quick. And you're kind of just left standing in the rubble of what you thought your life was.
Good times.
And, it's one of those cards. I mean, it is as scary looking as it sounds, but just like any card in tarot, even though it's like life, right? Life has dark and light and negative and positive. And with the tower, when you're in a tower moment, it can be so devastating, but it also gives you a clean slate. And you have this energy of like, well, I've lost literally fucking everything, so I might as well rebuild from a better place, so that's tower energy.
Oh my gosh, thank you for explaining that too. I mean, I know what it is, but I wanted you to just kind of explain that, and then I wanted to hear you talk about what you're most passionate about is tarot. So but lots I could identify with. I've seen just through talking to people, especially on this podcast, that we go through these catalytic moments of pain and suffering, quite honestly. And we get presented with that fork in the road, just like you said, where I could go down a dark path and use my old coping mechanisms, drinking, smoking. And I feel you on that. I've been separated from alcohol for like 2 years now.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, it feels really, really good. Feels really, really good. But we are presented with that choice of I can either take this road of darkness and keep doing the same shit that I was doing and stay in that lower vibration and attract more of the dark.
Yes, ma'am.
Or we say, well, I don't know what this healing looks like, and it is scary as fuck, and it is the unknown, but I'm going to choose the higher road and the higher path to heal myself. So 100%. I think it's amazing. And And I am so sorry about the loss of that little soul.
Oh, thanks. She
Some
came back. It's okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I have a different story with pregnancies in my life, but I do feel that the souls come for a reason.
Yeah.
Of
Oh, 100%.
I know for me it was a wake up call,
Mhm.
and so yeah. But I'm glad that she did come back to you, and you have your gorgeous little girl, and that
Yeah.
you're on this healthier path, and it's opened up your whole life, which is amazing if we choose
Right.
it. But it can be so
Yes.
hard to just even choose that.
Oh, yeah, because like you said, it's the
Like, do I want to
unknown and it's
die or do I want
scary.
help? I don't know.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
because I think we can get so attached to our trauma.
we do. It becomes our identity.
Exactly.
Well,
And
I'm
we,
just like this because this
yep,
happened to me.
right. And it becomes a comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's the devil card. Like, sorry,
Yeah.
everything for me is a tarot
It's fine.
analogy, but it's the
It's
devil
okay.
that we know, right? Like you feel chained in a way to like the comfort of it all. And
Yeah.
I think it is braver and it is more difficult to take that higher road,
Mm-hmm.
especially if the people around you are not
Don't
taking
understand.
that road, right? And it because I think what one thing that people don't talk about a lot is how isolating your awakening can feel and how people will fall off and how like you can be in that like hermit energy of feeling really alone and really
Oh yeah.
isolated and that's something that so many people are like love and light, like and that's part of it, but it's also
Yes and
lot
no.
of a lot of shedding of old narratives and a lot of shadow work that has to be done to be able to be there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I also identified with you being raised Catholic. So did I. I
Mm-hmm.
grew up in the Catholic Church. I always felt really connected to Archangel Michael specifically. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that was like that is still one of my main guides. But, some of that old school sweep under the rug type of mentality. Um, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
also, yes, it's like we don't talk about that shit. But
Right.
I want to also talk about how you said that, you went back to Danielle over time and you were
Mm-hmm.
removing, to me as an energy worker and a Reiki master, you're removing these blockages that we
Yeah.
accumulate over time. And I don't know about you if you agree with this. Do you agree that energy work is like years of therapy in one session? It can be because you're just getting to you're getting to the trauma cellular memory. That's what spirit told me
100%.
is what's happening. You are getting into the
Yeah.
cellular memory of where the trauma is in the body.
Yeah, and where it's stored, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we carry so much, especially as women, like in our hips and in
Oh,
those
yeah.
like in that womb space, like we just put
Mm-hmm.
it's every traumatic thing, we just pack it tight into into those spaces. And I think that it's an interesting, I do agree with you, but I also think that what can be the most powerful is if you are on an energy healing journey combined with a therapy journey.
1,000%, girl.
Yeah.
I'm with
And you're
you.
also doing the sorting of the
All things.
mental, yeah, because that was kind of for me what happened. I started kind of both at the same time,
Yes.
and they both just ended up totally coinciding, and it was weird because my therapist ended up, she's Reiki level 2, and like these things that I had no idea
Yeah.
until all of a sudden I go in there and I'm like, I'm thinking about trying Reiki, and she was like, I'm Reiki level 2, and I was like, oh great, so
Yeah.
now a huge part of my therapy is also us talking about like my soul's path, and why would I choose this if I met with my team before I got here and I said these are the parents I'm going to have, this is the path I'm going to be on, why would I choose that? And so now that's kind of come into my cognitive behavioral therapy journey. So yeah, I agree. I think that clearing that the cellular level, like you said, is so important. But I also
Mhm.
think that if we are not doing the work on a mental health level at the same time, then
1,000%.
then it'll just come right back. So it
Oh,
has to be a
girl,
combination.
I
Yeah.
agree. And that's, part of my passion. I've shared that to bring all these practices into contemporary society or whatever, this
Yeah.
timeline, because all of it is important, because it's all connected, right? Mind, body, spirit, all
Yep.
the levels. So we have the mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, body. But yes, I do believe that the energy work is wonderful, but it's not
Mhm.
one and done. Like it's not
100%.
like, and I don't even say as a practitioner, like, oh, I'm a healer. I'm a conduit. That's where the name of
Mhm.
the podcast came from. I am a hollow bone, if we're talking about Native American traditions, where you are literally a channel for the energy to work, but
Yep.
then it's up to the client to continue to do the work, whether that is whatever, the shadow work, like you said. It's not
Mhm.
all love and light. Wish it was, but we're both dark and light. We're both,
Yeah.
all the things. So
Mhm.
I do believe in that combination of mental wellness or talk therapy or whatever you need, and then the energy
Yeah.
work, and then the follow-up work as well. So
Yeah.
I just love that came out, because that is such a big mission of mine, is to bring the energy work into the mental health field, into the
Yes.
medical field, and so we can heal our bodies, like in the cells and also on all the levels. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh yeah,
Thanks
absolutely.
for bringing that up,
I'm
girl.
totally, yeah, totally on board with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. So, okay, so you got Reiki certified,
Yeah.
and that became part of your self-healing toolkit, and sometimes you do that for others, but
Mhm.
let's talk about your tarot business.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I currently read both out of my home and virtually.
Mm-hmm.
I am in the process. I'm going to say it out loud because I feel like if I speak it into existence, it'll happen. But I am in the process of looking for brick and mortar spaces. Um,
Okay. It's
yeah,
out there.
it's out there. Because I feel I'm at a place, I'm at a place that not only do I not want just like anybody coming to my house since I have a baby.
I feel you. I stopped working with clients, and I used to work with clients in my house. Not that I
Yeah,
won't now, but
it's a
it's your
lot.
sacred space.
It is. Yeah. And so there's that, but I also am kind of the mentality that if I build it, they will come. And
Yes.
I feel like I've been in this like catch 22 for a few months now of, it's like the business is building,
Mhm.
but is it building enough to warrant the space? You know what I mean? Like where I'm kind of in this in between, but
Yeah.
I have faith that if if it's there, it will attract, and it will
100%.
attract the right clientele. So
Yes.
yeah, that's kind of my next step. But yeah, I mean, for me, I'm an entertainer at heart. That's like what I do. That's what I am trained in. I have a BFA musical theater. Like that's my main thing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
heard you sing, and you're amazing. I'm like
Oh,
half
thank
tempted to
you.
be like, can you just like sing us something really quickly? But you're just amazing. Your voice is
Thank
so
you.
lovely. So if you
Oh,
want to sing later, no worries. You can.
I don't know about that. We'll pull some cards, but I don't know
This
about singing.
podcast is wild. We just do whatever.
Because yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think that while tarot is so sacred, and I do have such a respect for it, I
Mhm.
also think it should be fun and it should be
Oh yeah.
entertaining, and it
Yeah.
should it should be like a full experience. And I think that that's something that, like, not at all to sound cocky, but I do kind of feel like that's kind of my angle that I bring to the table, is like,
Mhm.
with a background as an entertainer. Like if you come to me for a reading, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. I'm going to give it to you straight, but we're also going to have a good time, and it's going to
Yeah.
be a fun way to spend an hour. You know
I
what I
love
mean?
it. Mhm.
Yeah. So, and my business, is called Leigh King in Tune,
I know, it's so
because
cute.
because I, in tune with the universe,
I
and
know,
also
and the
in
music and
tune.
the
Yeah.
frequency, and I love it.
Yeah.
So what are your specific offerings then for people?
So I do a 30-minute or an hour long tarot reading. I do oracle readings also, although there's always going to be a tarot card pulled. I can't help it. There's always going to be a tarot card in the mix. I cannot help it.
Yeah.
I do offer Reiki sessions, both virtual and in person. And then I do chakra balancing and assessments. And my favorite is to do a tarot-led Reiki session, which is usually an hour to an hour and a half. And that's where we do like an in-depth reading. We get down to the nitty-gritty and really see like what's popping up, where are we blocked, and then we do a Reiki session where we're using crystals, we're using all the things to really kind of focus in on what came through in that reading and clear some of those blockages. So those are my favorite to do because those are the most fun and the most like intimate. And then I also soul guidance, soul chats. If you just need like a little check-in, we can do that too. So kind of all over the board, really.
I love it. I love that you're offering this work. I think it's important, especially with the timeline that we live in. And, now like a lot of people are waking up or coming online, like their gifts are coming online, and just to have the support and the guidance is just like, it's absolutely needed,
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
So I love that your mentality of manifesting your brick and mortar space. I want to throw it out there. I don't know if you're looking for your own building space or if you want to be part of a collective, but there is an amazing collective in Surfside Beach, the Soulfish Center. And there's so many different modalities being offered there. I'm sure, you could come and be part of that, but I'm just throwing that out there. Number one.
Love that.
Thank you. I love that you said that if you build it, they will come. Absolutely. Like you're going to create the space so that you can fill the space with more business. It's okay. Hi.
Honey. I'm getting a package, girl.
Oh, it's okay.
We're not editing. That's my dog.
We're not editing it. I'm not even gonna jinx it, but my dog's being
honey. Cut it out, babe.
Okay, sorry. She has something to say. But now my dogs are they were like, oh well, if she's gonna be on the podcast, then we on the podcast. Usually they're like sitting here with me, but they were wilding this morning. So anyways, but yeah, I love that manifestation technique. So I guess maybe we should talk about that a little bit too, is like, what are your manifestation practices, or do you have like a daily practice that you do? Our dogs are talking to each other right now. It's totally fine.
Honey, stop, babe. Someone knocked on the door, so she's freaking out. I'm sorry. Manifestation. Yes. I'm sorry about that.
Fine. It's part of the raw experience.
Oh my God. Honey. Oh my God. It's a roofing salesman. I don't need that. Get out of here. I'm so sorry. Okay.
It's okay. No worries whatsoever. It is manifestation. Manifestation.
Sorry, you guys.
No, it's fine. It's totally good. How do you manifest?
Well, I'm a big crystal grid girl.
Okay.
So I always, if I have a focus, something that I'm like really focused on, I will always make a crystal grid for it. I have like this little round table that's mirrored, and that's where I do my grids. So that's usually first and foremost. Like right now I have a grid that's full of like citrine and pyrite and green aventurine, all about that kind of like
abundance,
calling in abundance, calling in. Yeah. So that's a big part of it for me. I also, meditation always on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And, I think I also use the mantra a lot of like this or better, it's like, this is what I'd like to manifest. This is what I see. But if you got something better in store, baby, send it my way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I'm open to all blessings of abundance, even if it doesn't look like exactly what I think it should. So,
which is usually like kind of how it goes. I feel like, at least for me, it doesn't ever really look like what I think it is, or, but I love that.
Yeah. And I think that while I do agree that you should be specific in manifestation,
I struggle with the specifics.
Me
I
too.
really do.
I do too.
As someone who understands the nature of free will and energy,
yes,
I'm doing a 21-day manifestation thing with Gabby Bernstein right now.
Oh yeah, I'm reading The Universe has
your back.
Yeah.
So she does say to get specific, and I was like, but I don't know what it looks like. So I focus on the feelings, and it's generated so much goodness. That's kind of how the podcast got restarted, because I pray and I meditate every day, and I listen for the cues, and that's kind of how I got nudged to reach out to you, or I got nudged to reach out to people, or just throw it out there in general. And my word for this year is alignment. And so all these people
I love that.
become interested. And so it feels very aligned, but that's just like you said, I struggle even with a vision board, because I'm like, I don't know, but this looks cool. I'm welcome to what's going to bring those feelings into my life. But what came to me this morning in meditation was, what I want, I already have. And I was like, what does that mean?
I love that.
It's like, what I want, I already have. It's already here. And I was like, it's here.
Claim it, babe.
Okay. But I love that synchronicity even right here, that you are also into the Gabby Bernstein energy right now. And that you don't, I'm like, bless those people that specify what they want to do in 5 years. I'm like, amazing. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing next week, but okay.
I know.
And that is the least Capricorn trait about me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know.
Right. But it's also, it's like you said, if you are open to free will and destiny, and I also like to be surprised sometimes. I like for things to come in, I like that ace energy of the tarot, that those blessings coming. I like that. So yeah. And it's interesting you talk about feelings, because I say that a lot to my clients, especially when they are having trouble figuring out what they want. I say, well, how do you want to feel? How do you want to wake up every day and feel?
Exactly.
Do you want to feel purposeful? Do you want to feel joyful? Do you, do you want to
instead of the actual tangible result, you're focusing on the feelings. And that has brought me, that was a game changer, that approach to manifesting.
I love that. Yeah. You're the only other person I've ever heard say that.
Say what?
How do you want to feel?
I say that to my clients too.
Yeah,
I do ask them sometimes, well, what do you want?
And
a lot what are your challenges to get there? Because I do more emphasis on the Reiki, the spiritual healing work, just kind of like you said, the assessment of the chakras. That's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
And the tarot is kind of the supplemental thing, the readings for me. I love the cards as a tool for sure. But I also do some, like you said, coaching, soul coaching. Yeah. And that's the question, right? How do you want to feel? And what do you want? And then what are your challenges to get there? So yeah, girl, I'm on board. We're supposed to be talking today for
I love
sure.
That. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
I love that so much. Yeah. So how do you feel about doing a little card reading?
I feel great about it. I have them right here, actually.
Oh, you don't say.
They live right beside me most of the time. So
yeah, I mean, you can do it for what do you feel like for the collective?
Sure.
It's going to air on Tuesday. We are pre-recording. It's not edited, but it is pre-recorded, just letting people know. Okay. So it's going to be aired next Tuesday. So I don't know how you want to do your reading now for the podcast.
No, I think we'll do a 3-card pool, kind of like what I do, what I post on social media pretty often.
I love your little videos.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. TikTok's going away. And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. I never did TikTok. I really I don't know. And I'm mediocre with my social videos. I should be better at it. I'm putting that into existence. Does anyone want to help me make Technical videos.
It's so hard now because if you want to do anything, you have to be like a social media guru, and that is a whole other skill set in itself.
I know. Yeah,
Really,
it really
drives me nuts.
And it's like a whole other job too. It's like besides the energy work that we're doing, the soul work that we're doing with people, it's like we also have to be into this techie,
this other world. And it can feel like it's so energy pulling, like energy draining from where I want to put my energy, but it's also feels so necessary for the growth. And I get it. So with my 3-card spreads, I kind of just pull 3 and see, what the message is overall. And if it works for you, it works for me.
Works for me, works for the listeners. Like,
all right. So if you are listening on Tuesday, January 21st, I think.
I don't know.
We would have just had an inauguration. So that's a thing that we should.
Oh my God. That is a thing.
That's a thing.
Holy shit. That's next week.
Yeah, girl. That's next week.
Okay. Yep. 21st. Here we go.
So let's focus on what we can be hopeful for in 2025, since that's got some of us feeling a bit.
Well, there's a lot of astrological shifts, as you know, that have happened.
Like, yes, it's a year of revolution.
Into Aquarius.
Yes. Okay, so interesting. All right, let's go ahead and start. So right away, we have 9 of Wands popping up. This is a card of being a little guarded. And to be guarded is not necessarily a bad thing, but we do want to make sure that the wounds of the past are not hindering our growth of the future, right? So this guy, he's been through it. He's got that bandage on his head. He's kind of armed and ready, right? Which is understandable. We've all been through a lot of shit. You don't want to carry that shit in and have it hinder us so much that we're not continuing to grow, that we're not focusing on what sets our soul on fire, right? Because with where we're at in this country, in 2025, there's a lot of noise and a lot. We're inundated with a lot of information from a lot of different places. So we just want to make sure that while we keep our boundaries personally, we are not allowing it to like inundate us so much that we're not focusing on what we love to do and focusing on what makes us grow.
Love it.
Yeah. 10 of Swords reversed. So I think this is actually a better card in its reverse than it is in its upright, right?
Yeah.
This is a card of mental exhaustion. We've been through it. We're tired, right? But with 10s, always they're going to come back down to 1, right? So it's the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. Swords, all about that mental health, that mental energy. Now, I like to think of this card as we're kind of we've moved through it. Stick a fork in us, we're done. We've kind of come to the decision that we are ready to move forward mentally, right? So I know it's a scary one, but I see
swords are just, that they're swords, the cutthroat, the mental, the intellectual, the real truth, clarity, right? Yeah. So, but I like that you see the 9 and the 10. Like the 9 is got
that 9 and 10. So we are coming to the end, right? Coming to the end of a cycle a little bit. And last but not least, in this energy of this year and of Tuesday, January 21st, we have 5 of Cups in reverse. So we are going to be coming out of a darker period. We're coming out of a period of grief, a period of mourning, and we need to focus on the cups that are still full. We need to focus on the things that we still have, much like this 9 of Wands, right? Like focus on what you can control, focus on what fills your heart, what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what helps you grow. Know that all of the kind of mental shit that we've been going through, it's going to clear up. We're going to come to a place of clarity. So, are these the most positive cards in the deck? Maybe not, but like life, life, each card has its positive and its negative aspects. So overall, we're coming to a place of cycles ending, which, we're in the year of 9, which is all about that. All about
That's
cycle
my
reading.
personal number this year too.
Oh, that's my life path number.
My life path number is 8, but this year I know it's collective 9, and 9 is completion and endings. And I believe, I did the numerology, and it's a 9 for me too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So a lot of endings. Yeah.
And I just had a birthday, and it's
happy birthday.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I feel like it'll be a good year. I think I'm saying positive, not toxic positive, but just feeling good about a new cycle.
Yes. Because that's the thing, it doesn't, just because things endings can be painful, but they can also open up so much space. And when you've had a lot of the same energy for a long time, sometimes it's nice to like clear it out and make room. I always say you can't move in a new couch if you still have the old one. You know what I mean? You gotta get rid of that couch. Get rid of the couch, honey. Time to call rooms to go. Get a new one to come on in.
Yeah, for sure. You got to make the space, like exactly what you said, just kind of going back to what you said about, having a space for your business. Like, make the space for it. If you build it, they will come. I love that so much.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask one more thing before we go. Is there anything else that you're feeling called to share right now? I always ask people, that's the last question I ask people. It's like, okay, what else do you have for me? And hopefully that won't start us on another hour conversation. But if we need another one, we can have it.
No, so I am also one of the founding members of an all-female paranormal investigation group called Veils Paranormal. So it's me and my friend Brooke Ann, who's a psychic medium. She's absolutely incredible. And then our friend Jen, who's our tech specialist. So if that's something that, if you feel a little like your house may have a little spirit in it, give us a call. We're doing it completely for free, and trying to build our content and get into some buildings and do some investigations. So that's another big passion of mine, and I'd love if you want to give us a follow on social media at Veils Paranormal. That'd be great. And so just a little plug there.
That's so fun. That's like Ghostbusters type shit.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. So I really loved our conversation. I'm so grateful that you agreed to this on a whim. Like, we both didn't know it was going to come through, but it's been really awesome talking to you. If people want to connect with you or work with you, what are your tell us the things. How can they talk to you?
So I'm most active on Instagram. You can always shoot me a DM. It's at Leigh King in Tune, LEIGHKINGINTUNE. Or you can find me on Facebook. Facebook is Leigh Sauvageau King. And then you can go to my website, which is www.leighkingintune.com. I'm going to be doing a full website overhaul in the next month because it needs it desperately. But in the meantime, my books are open, and if you just want to chat, that's great too.
Awesome. Well, I have really enjoyed this so much.
Thank you
so much for being here. And thank you to the listeners or the viewers, however you're consuming the information. If you're interested in coming on the podcast, send me a message. Or if you have somebody that you think would want to come on the podcast, let me know. I'm here for it. I'm opening it up this year. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll check with you next Tuesday. Bye, guys.
Thank you.